folks, I'm glad you're here. Thank you very much for joining me today. It is December 6, 2024. There has been 184 earthquakes reported by USGS after the powerful Northern California earthquake that happened on Thursday. It was followed by a widespread tsunami warning that sent thousands of people fleeing inland amid a mandatory evacuation and the threat of coastal flooding before authorities called off the warning. I was really disappointed that mainstream media was not talking about this earthquake on the television, cable networks. I even thought the Weather Channel might be talking about it, but no, they're talking about the snow and the storms coming into Erie, Lake Erie, Pennsylvania, etc. Not a word about the earthquake that occurred yesterday there in Northern California. The quake, which hit at 10:44 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, was centered about 10 miles southwest of Scotia in Humboldt County. Residents across the Bay Area reported intense shaking, with some describing rolling waves of motion up and down. There was even one video from a skyrise there showing lamps falling over and the high-rise apartment, shaking. There was also reports of possibly 3 homes that were moved off their foundation. I've spent hours this morning trying to find images or more information about that, but it's almost like they don't want people to know about this 7.0 or the possibility of another larger earthquake, either along the Cascadia subduction zone or the San Andreas fault zone. It seems like they just don't want people to know, so they don't prepare. Preliminary data suggests that the fault was triggered by a powerful earthquake that ruptured from west to east. Dr. Lucy Jones said that this means there is a chance of an aftershock could occur on the San Andreas fault zone, but emphasizes that seismologists can't predict with certainty the location or strength of aftershocks. I worked for many hours yesterday posting a lot of the earthquakes. These are all the aftershocks that occurred up until maybe 4 p.m. local time. This here is the Mendocino Triple Junction. The majority of the earthquakes are on the south side of this fault zone, and remember, it moved from west to east, and we have a spreading center here. This is seismically the most active part of California. Yeah, there's been some large ones in this area, larger than yesterday's 7.0. Back in 1923, there was a magnitude 7.1. In 1980, there was a magnitude 7.3. And then in 1980, also a 7.2. In 2005, there was a magnitude 7.2. A lot of people probably don't realize that the Mendocino Triple Junction there, the fracture zone, actually extends about 2,500 miles, or 4,000 kilometers. They are now saying that yesterday's earthquake was a result of the Pacific Plate and the Gorda Plate sliding against each other. So luckily it wasn't a thrust earthquake. A thrust earthquake would have been devastating. Those are the worst earthquakes anyone could have. A thrust earthquake is where one side of the fault zone stays stationary and the other side rises up, creating a huge wave. The wave can travel through the open ocean as fast as a jet plane. The wavelength may be more than 130 miles long. Energy is compressed when it reaches shallower water. The wave slows and then lifts up. Here you can see a good diagram of it. But luckily, this earthquake was a strike-slip movement, not a thrust earthquake. The two plates sliding against one another in a large horizontal motion. And yeah, that was good. So less chance of uplift of the water to create a tsunami. When the tsunami warning went out, most folks fled easily to safety. The container ship that was moving towards the Golden Gate Bridge in the Bay Area with huge stacks of crates, reversed and headed back out to what would be calmer seas. Mayor London Breed posted on X to warn people to move inland. There were plenty of people who dashed to the coastline instead of evacuating to watch. That was the wrong move, according to Justin Score, a rescue captain with the San Francisco Fire Department. There was even images of people with their wetsuits going out with their surfboards hoping to capture the tsunami. Very stupid. It was an actual threat, Score said, noting that the warning issued by the National Weather Service was the highest level of alert for a tsunami event. The scientists were so concerned that they skipped over the other two levels of alerts and went straight to the highest one. There is nothing to see in a tsunami event, Score cautioned. By the time you can see or hear it, it's too late. Jamie Hajardo, a disabled veteran visiting the San Francisco Veterans Administration Medical Center, Clement Street, didn't care. He bolted to the beach to see if he could help. He said, "To be honest, I wanted to be present if anyone needed help," he said, holding a cane in his right hand. "I was in the Marine Corps for years, and it's what we do." Maybe afterwards he could have gone down and helped, but he would just been another liability. If there had been a large tsunami, that was the worst thing to do, to rush down to see the waves. Emergency notifications hit smartphones across the region minutes later, warning people of possible powerful waves and strong currents impacting the coast from Davenport to Santa Cruz County up into Oregon. The warning prompted several communities to call for mandatory evacuations, while other areas equally at risk advised residents to stay away from the water. The warning, which applied to more than 5 million people, was lifted just before noon. You know, they got alerts on their cell phones, but a lot of people don't have cell phones. Many of the elderly don't have cell phones. They only have landlines, and alerts did not go out to the landlines. What mainstream media is not talking about is all the damage that it has been caused. Luckily, because this is the third earthquake in December in the last 3 years. Many people in this location have been prepared for another earthquake. They do have large furniture bolted to the walls. Many stores have put up metal siding for their liquor and different types of condiments that they sell. So if there's another earthquake, things are hopefully held in place better than the last 2 earthquakes. Most of the pictures that I found were from grocery stores, things that were flung to the floor, aisles, just filled with different types of items. The tsunami warning extended 500 miles along the California and Oregon coast. People reported intense shaking lasting up to 10 seconds, leading to the evacuations in low-lying coastal areas. Businesses, most of the pictures I found were from businesses like Ferndale and Eureka and Shelter Cove, had shattered glasses, and schools and transportation systems, including BART, temporarily shut down as a precautionary measure. San Francisco used to have an emergency siren that would alert people. It was set up during the Cold War of, taking shelter, different sirens that they would test every week to alert people of imminent danger. Those sirens don't work anymore. These alerts should have been accompanied by loud sirens, but the city's outdoor warning system has been out of commission for 5 years, and it's not clear when it will be back in working order. Fortunately, Thursday's tsunami warning was canceled, but the incident led to one local official to question why the city isn't moving more quickly to get the sirens up and running again. The sirens, which longtime city dwellers remember used to be tested weekly on Tuesdays, went silent in December of 2019 as part of what officials expected would be a $2.5 million project to boost the security and reliability of the warning system. This siren wasn't just for tsunami warnings. It was also, for nuclear war. And if the power goes out, you're not going to get the sirens, of course. You're not going to get text messages. And as I stated before, a lot of elderly people don't have cell phones. They only have landlines. The project to reinstall the sirens has been delayed, and little work has been done to get it up and running. The cost of an entirely new system is expected to be upward of $20 million. And that's before factoring in the operating costs. That money will be hard to come by, particularly in light of the city's $876 million 2-year deficit. The San Francisco Department of Emergency Management told the Chronicle it is in the information gathering stage to revamp the warning system, meaning they're not doing nothing. They're just sitting on their rear ends. Spokesperson Denny Machucha Grebi said they have received requests for information from potential bidders, but don't have the funds to make repairs. So it kind of sounds like they're not even taking bidders right now. There have been offers, but they're not accepting them because they're still in the gathering information stage. You know, a lot of people say they're going to be prepared for different types of disasters. They make promises to friends and family, and then they don't do anything. There was another article that I read about one person there in San Francisco, how they had gotten together with friends and decided who was going to get the school children, where they're going to meet and things like that. One resident took stock of their provisions. They had a garden in the backyard, and surprisingly they said that they still had kale plants. Well, you just can't live on strictly kale. So after this alert, they made an inventory and noticed that they were low on bird seed. They did have several pounds of dried pasta. Aside from that, all they had was a couple cans of coconut milk and some mac and cheese and a half of a box of granola bars. This person had agreed to stockpile food for the entire family. And then they realized it wasn't just their family that wasn't fully prepared for any type of crisis. And even after the crisis had come and gone, a lot of people found out that even the cities was giving out very little information about what to do or where to go. A resident of Oakland said that after an hour past the warning, it was still unclear how the tsunami would affect Oakland and where they lived. Information was scarce, and the warning sirens, one that they had right outside their front door, was silent. They said that clearly they did not have any such plan in place for a tsunami. Thursday's lack of communication from the leaders drove home that they need to take steps to educate themselves about such a disaster and develop their own emergency plans. But will they? You know, in the past, people have said, okay, this is what we're going to do, and then they do nothing. The earthquake evidently caused power outages in Bryanston, Beverly Garden, Ferndale, Vanya Grove, and the surrounding area. There was also a report, I believe it was Shelter Cove, that there was a water line that broke. For people in the community of Ferndale in Humboldt County, cleanup from this significant earthquake in December has seemingly become a tradition in recent years. Yesterday's magnitude 7.0 was the latest to strike the area around the holidays. One resident, I believe in Humboldt County, Raya Sanchez, said that when she looked up at the ceiling during the earthquake, it looked like it was jelly, the wavy motion. She worked at Farmer's Daughters, and after the quake, it was a big mess that they had to clean up. Yeah, the ceiling was cracked. Tiles had fallen off the walls. There has been 3 significant earthquakes in December. One in 2021, 2022, and now this year. Many people are prepared. They have their large shelving bolted to the wall. They have metal grates in front of the different items that could crash to the floor and break. Some store owners even have their Christmas trees wired to the wall. But yet a lot of people, the majority of the stores, still haven't done nothing. After the fact, they went to government websites trying to find out what to do, where to evacuate, and little information was given out. It's all basically up to the citizens to be prepared. If there was a major disaster that took out the power grid for the entire country, they say that 90% of the population would be dead within the first year. And that's because of the lack of sanitation, lack of medical services, lack of power. Do you realize that when Haiti had their earthquake, the majority of the people that died was from dysentery, diarrhea, because of the lack of sanitation? If there's no power, then the sewer lines, the lift stations wouldn't be working, and you could have all that sewage backing up into your homes. They had an outbreak of cholera that took them 10 years to finally put an end to. The result of the cholera outbreak was 820,000 illnesses and 10,000 deaths. Many people probably don't realize that cholera is contagious, but it's more likely to spread by contaminated food or water, contaminated with fecal matter of infected people. That's why it took so long to end the cholera outbreak there in Haiti. So if there is a major disaster where the sewage systems aren't working and it's backing up into your homes, this is one of the reasons why they say that 90% of the population would be dead after a major disaster within the first year. This latest earthquake should be a wake-up call for people to be prepared for, another large earthquake. They do worry that it could trigger. They don't know if it's going to trigger the St. Andreas Fault earthquake. People keep saying, I will, but when will you actually get out and do something? So what are your thoughts? Please put your comments down below. Thank you very much for watching. Thank you very much for your support. If you wish to watch my videos, I'm also on Patreon. Anyone can watch my videos there for free, so you can just jump on over. Thank you again. Please stay safe. Please be prepared. And get a cell phone that you have to get emergency alerts. Don't depend on the landlines. They won't send out reports of any type of disaster to landlines. And the sirens there in the San Francisco Bay Area aren't working. Please stay safe, and I'll talk to you later. God bless y'all. Bye.